Hello and welcome to the Tell and Grow Your Business show. Today we're speaking about something really special, and we have, one of our distinguished guests, Anna Chu. Anna has been a guest on the show, a number of times, and a lot of people have requested that she comes back because she has so much value she's been giving and sharing. So it's a really great pleasure, having Anna here again today. Anna is an accountant. She's an award-winning accountant. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a martial arts, expert and all of these things. She's such a phenomenal lady, and I'm sure you'll be really, really delighted to meet her. So I'm going to give it back to Anna now so she can introduce herself so very well. Thank you so much for coming here, Anna, and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here. And hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. So to start with, just a bit about my business. So as mentioned, that I run my own tax consultancy business. Primarily, I work with doctors, but here is a secret I want to tell you. I niche my marketing, but I don't exclude my service. So that's one of the tips that you can take away, like niche your marketing, but not excluding your service. So, of course, primarily I work with doctors. I do have some other small business clients or people are starting out their business, because I know I have been through the startup period. I understand how it feels like, especially when it comes to the money. But when it comes to like healthcare professionals or people, I work with people in general, I do create a holistic approach to accounting. So my message or my mission is always, because I know at the moment there's this mental health issue around healthcare professionals in the UK. And apparently, more than 400 doctors committed suicide between 2011 to 2015. So that has been a serious issue. And I realize the real mission of what I do is really to have a holistic approach to help these people to create wealth, but without losing their health.
Good. Thank you so very much. So that's a really great insight about what Hannah does. She works with healthcare professionals. Specifically, she works with doctors who are, setting up their businesses, who are themselves individual, self-employed people working in the NHS here in the UK. She helps them to balance their tax matters, tax problems, their business problems, business issues, and so that they can keep their heads above, the waters and continue to survive and thrive in their business and in the profession that they do. And as Anna said, over 400 doctors committed suicide between 2011 and 2015. That is really awful. That's horrific. I mean, that's a groundbreaking news or a piece of information that's going on, and that is why people like Hannah are there to help these people so that they can break even and be happy in the profession that they love to do. Okay, Anna, yes, let's get back now to, you talked about startup businesses. Let's get back to when you started. What was that moment? What caused it? What happened? Could it be that because of this news of people, doctors committing suicide, or what exactly was it that made you start your business at the time you started your business?
Okay, so the time I started the business was the time I just finished my training, and that was in early 2014. Because I always had the idea of running my own business. I hired a mentor when I was still working for somebody else. I want to get the ground running, but what really, really kicked my butt, perhaps I haven't really shared with a lot of people, but what really kicked my butt was actually my visa was running out. And that's actually a lot of things, a lot of things I do. I'm like immigrant, and I know I have to work hard to stay in this country. But one of the things I see that as an advantage, we have so many criteria. You have to meet certain level. You have to be like certain level of skill set. But I do see that as an advantage. I used to really moaning about that, why people really don't like the immigrants in this country. I really like to be here. I like the freedom, but I see that as my advantage. Also, the advantage of me setting up a business that really held me accountable and never look back. It's like I have to survive this way. It's my way of life, and I never look back. So from then, actually, I have learned whatever challenges in the business, whatever comes up, how hard it is, I see that as my advantage. I don't see that as obstacle. So it's more of a stepping stone for me to jump higher.
That's really great. Something that was on the downside, something that was putting you down, somehow not making you, really happy. And then you turned that into a huge advantage that's made you build this wonderful, successful business that you've got. You knew that you had to meet this deadline, you had to meet this criteria, you worked your butt out, and then you said to yourself, it has to work. And it's working, and it's worked, and it's going to continue to work because you haven't relented. Well done, wonderful. Yes, Anna, let's go back to, as an accountant, and I keep saying, you're someone who's really made it so fun, understanding, learning, listening to talks about tax. You really did it super, super, super all the times I've had to speak to you about it. Okay. So now we're talking about 3 pillars of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do understand what wealth is about. So what really are the 3 pillars of wealth that you want to talk to us about?
Okay, so when it comes to wealth, of course, like people have different view on the word wealth. For some people, especially like in the financial world or say wealth management, wealth building, it's more likely people relate to monetary wealth. But wealth is wider than that. For me, there are 3 pillars of wealth. The first pillar is your health. Your health is your first wealth. Actually, it's a much deeper connection between your physical and mental health, as well as your earning potential and your potential of building wealth. Because you want to be sustainable, and you want to have when you build the wealth, when you have the money, you want to enjoy that. So want to sustainable and be joyful. So your health is your first wealth. And the second pillar is the inner work. So here we don't, of course, we hear about money mindset, a relationship with money. But fundamentally, I think the inner work is really to value yourself. And sometimes it is okay to put yourself first. It is okay. Sometimes, it's not a selfish thing to look after yourself. It's actually a selfish thing to do, because when we are feeling empty, when we are not looking after ourselves, when we're not healthy, we cannot add as much value to the world, and that will also impact our monetary health as well. And the third pillar is the practicals. Is the practicals of managing money, keeping everything on track, having the tax bill on track, or be tax efficient. So it doesn't mean you have to learn everything. It's really what really works is you have the right financial team that's working for you, but you still remain the level of awareness. You still know the basics, and because it's your money, it's in your bank account. You have the primary responsibility of it. At the same time, you have the trusted financial team working for you. So that's outer work. So just a summary, first pillar is your health, second is your inner work, and the third is your outer work.
Well done. Thank you so very much for that, insight. That is wonderful. Okay. You said something about business owners here should be tax efficient, because definitely if you're employed by an organization, they will deduct your tax here in the UK straight away. So when a business owner wants to be tax efficient, what are the things they need to do to be tax efficient, really?
Okay, so first of all, I think it's all down to the ground or the basics. Because the way I advise tax, I actually, if you are familiar with Rich Dad Poor Dad, the four quadrant, like cash flow quadrant,
Yeah.
yeah, I always use that to explain my method. So as a business owner, because you're adding so much value to the economy, you are solving like solving problems. You're having like innovative idea to solve the problems. You're making people's life better. You're boosting the economy, and also you're creating jobs. One thing as a business owner I want you to know is there are a lot of flexibility and a lot of ways you can really get a relief or have more tax claims that are legitimate. So first of all, you just say you have much more advantage than people who are just being employed because of the value you're adding to the economy.
Okay.
And the second thing is actually one of one of the mentors I know who tells me that everything can be tax deductible under the right circumstances. So it doesn't mean you have to put absolutely everything. It's all relative, and it's all, you know, sometimes like, say for instance, like as a business owner, you spend money to build a website. That is very obvious. That is a business expense. So it's just a black and white. But what if something like if you have a home-based business, and how can you make sure you maximize the home use? Like if you work almost full-time at home, for some people, if because the people I work with, when they are really using quite a bit of time at home or nearly full-time at home, working, then usually like 33% of your rent or utility can be used to claim against your taxable income. So all this, like, you know, some gray areas you really need to watch out for. It is always good that you have a tax advisor or accountant who are more thinking like a business owner rather than an employee, because they as a business owner, they understand, they have been through that, and they want you the best. They want to really, really bite that for you, but also make sure it's legitimate. And of course, the third tip is really document everything, keeping records. If you do claim that chunk of money for home use, make sure you do keep a record on the rent you have paid, the utility bill you have paid, so that's as evidence, as something to support. It doesn't mean you have to submit to the taxman. It just in case the taxman asks you questions, and you have the solid foundation over there. So that's my tips. First of all, know that you have so much more advantage because of the value you're adding to the economy. And the second, everything can be tax deductible under the right circumstances. And the third, document everything.
That is great. You know what? There's something that's really so interesting here, because you talked about people who work at home, who do their business in their homes,
Yeah.
and like electricity, for example. You
Yeah.
use a lot of you use your computers. So
Yeah.
you use your computers mainly like for business. You do social media, whatever, for business, and you pay your tax. How do you now know the where you clearly mark out what you've used as home use utility, and as home use as business use utility? So where do you mark the difference? How do you know? So how do you now get that into a tax deductible item?
Okay, so how do I know? Of course, in these circumstances, first of all, you really see how many hours on average
Okay.
a week, and then you work from home. So you proportion that way. For instance, it's like you work 40 hours a week from home, and in total, a week is 168 hours. So you proportion like that. And the second way is look at the percentage of the space For some people, they might have a separate room just for as an office. You might say the square foot, roughly what's the percentage? Maybe like it's a 25% or 30%. So buy the space. So there are two ways. Whichever way is more gives more advantage. But then, of course, for some people, they might just have like 1 bedroom home, 1 bedroom studio. They might just do it by the hours.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of calculation coming in. I mean, just to keep safe and as well as, make the best use of the tax advantages that you've got. Basically, that's why, things like this are really important. So when you start a business, say in the UK, because we're in the UK, right? For a small business owner, a new business owner, do you begin to pay tax? Is it within the first month of your business starting, or what's the, leverage that you're giving to begin to pay tax? How much must you earn, and all of those things?
Okay, so for the businesses, one thing you need to bear in mind is you pay tax based on the profits. So it's not like a gross income. It's not like when you employed, you work 5 hours and pay that much, then you pay tax.
Okay.
So you pay tax on the profits. That's why, first of all, maximizing the expenses, that's so important. And also depends on the structure of your business. So like in a lot of cases, you might have a lot of like startup costs. Like you hire a mentor, you hired some space, you bought a computer, you have your phone, or you have a lot of setup costs. But then the first month or first year, maybe you're just still building up. It's not, you didn't earn as much as you have spent. In that way, if you work as a sole trader, you can actually use a loss to offset your other income. Because I know a lot of people, they are like bootstrapping, like they still keep employment work to have the income coming, but at the same time building up a side business and gradually want to make it full-time. So in that case, if your business is not yet making a profit, then staying as a sole trader is a better way. It has a lot more simplicity. And also it really gets you into the habit to keep everything, because like for sole trader, a lot of things you need to look at is really how much you earn and how much you spend. Like if you have a limited company, it's more complicated. But if you're sole trader, that's simpler. But also if you do make a loss, you can use that to offset your employment income. If you put everything in the company, you cannot.
Okay.
Yes, unless you're the startup, you're looking for funding, you're looking for investments, you have to have a limited structure to issue the shares, to have certain conditions to be met. Yeah, but most of the bootstrapping entrepreneurs, like lean entrepreneur, like self-funded entrepreneurs, doing it that way.
Wow, this is so much information, very, very vital information for small business owners. On this platform, this is Tell and Grow Your Business, and I'm with Anna Xu, the award-winning accountant, author, and public speaker. Thank you so much for those joining us on Facebook Live. Thank you so very much. You can leave your comments. You can leave your questions. We have questions. Thanks for watching. I really can't see who is watching right now. But yeah, thank you so very much for being here with us here. So Anna, let's get on to those other things that you do outside, when you're not coach. I know you are a lady of so many interests, right? Okay, and I know that you have your book.
Yeah.
That's been launched, earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you tell us that insight? I want you to say that insight, about keeping wealth that you talked about earlier in that book. What are the main insights there that people want to really learn, or people must know, especially business owners, they must know so that they can keep their heads above water with regards to their tax and, accumulating wealth, not accumulating wealth, but at least managing their money and being very financially free?
Yeah, so from that book is called Create Wealth Through Tax. So I think the insight or the main theme of that book is you see tax as the advantage to help you to build wealth. It's just like, it's very similar like the story I shared earlier on. I have this, like being an immigrant, I have all these obstacles, but instead of seeing them as my obstacle, as a pain, I see them as advantage. So it's the same attitude as dealing with tax. Like you see the tax rules is there to help you to pay less tax rather than to rip people off. So it's really the attitude there. But also, of course, I do share quite like there are mainly 6 areas. I do divide them into like say self-assessment, self-employed, and also some tips on the 100K plus earners, some tax efficient investments. So I do have a different sections, but the main thing or the fundamentals is still related to the 4 quadrants or the basic rules of tax. Like as a business owner, you do have so much, you are adding so much value to the economy. And also, I think the idea here is really because you're adding so much value, you're creating jobs, you're boosting the economy, and then, you know, the taxman, the byproduct is the taxman reward you more tax breaks. So it's actually very true, like the more value you add, the more wealth you have, but the byproduct is the government do give you more tax breaks. So it's really focused on adding value, adding massive value. And then, you know, the money will follow, and then the byproduct is you do qualify for more tax reliefs.
Wonderful. So, I mean, this is so if you want to actually grow your wealth as a business owner, all you need to have is grow your wealth through tax by Anna Chu. It's on Amazon, I suppose. So we're going to post the comments on the comments. We're going to post where to find this book because it is really, really valuable. I know what's in the book and I know how much I've learned from that. It is wonderful. I mean, because a lot of people, like small business owners in particular, you think, oh, tax is a burden, and you don't know how much advantage you get when you're able to walk yourself, your way through it, you know, in the correct way and having guidance from people who really know what it takes, you know, for you to live above, put your head above waters and be worry-free on tax. So it's a really valuable book that you want to get your hands on. We're going to leave the comments on there as per how to get the books or the link to get the book. It is a very wonderful book. Okay, as I said, you're a lady of many, many, many interests. But like, I know you do comedy.
Yeah.
I know you do martial arts.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested in the community project because we will be running out of time very shortly. So I don't want us to do that. I know you're into a community project helping doctors, or you will be helping doctors and other health professionals to build their health so that they can better serve the community, because we all know that we all depend on these doctors and the nurses and the health care sector to be healthy ourselves, to keep the nation going. And, you know, generally everywhere in the world, people rely that we have to be healthy for us to be able to live that life that we want to live. So can you please tell us about that project, the martial art projects that you will be doing with doctors, the community? Yep.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the first pillar for wealth is your health. And earlier I also mentioned this 1/3 of UK doctors has mental health disorder. And also the suicide rate of doctors is like more than 400 doctors has committed suicide between 2011 to 2015. So I realized the more I work with doctors, I do care this issue. And because when they are well, they are healthy, they can actually help more people to become healthier and happier. The doctor, when we are losing doctors to suicide, it is actually a public crisis. So that is why, because for me, I've been practicing martial arts for more than 10 years. And it has really helped me become a more confident person. I can deal with stress a lot better. And also that's also part of the benefit of physical health, physical exercise as well. You release stress and you become more effective with your work. And you are happier because it does release happy hormones when you're exercising. So I am doing a community project, which is March 2019. I am doing my very first martial arts workshop in the hospital. So we are looking to have 50 doctors there to participate, and we are going to do the workshop to have lots of fun, help them to release stress, to have more joy and feeling the freedom of moving their body. So also at the same time to really raise awareness that it is important that for doctors to look after their health and for the public to really know that, to really encourage more healthcare professionals to look after themselves, because your health is your first wealth. And for the doctors, when they are well, they are the healers, they are saving people's lives. When they are healthy and they can help more people become healthier and happier.
Thank you so very much. That is really, really great. That is wonderful. That's a good job you're doing, you know. I mean, what we don't understand is that people run to the doctors when they are ill. What we don't understand that even the doctors have their own issues, and you know, encouraging them, giving them the boost that people like you are giving them, you know, is really rare around, which is why I really wanted you to talk about that project that you're doing. It's really wonderful, and just keep doing the great job. So yes, with regards to keeping our wealth and keeping our health, and you know, just putting ourselves together as business owners, whether you're a doctor or a healthcare professional, somebody in business, you have to, a lot of business owners work in their business 24/7. Right? Because they want to make an impact in other people's lives. They forget to look after themselves as well. Okay. So what's your one word for all these professionals, all these business owners, you know, who are trying to make big impact in the community, big impact in the world, you know, in the lives of other people? You know, what's your one word for them, you know, to look after themselves, to look after their wealth, and just get it right and live that life they want to live, and do for that purpose for which they've started their business, so that they reap the joy and the benefit of it at the end of it all? What's your one word for them?
Okay, so it has to be one word.
No, what's your advice for them?
Okay, my advice would be focus on who you are being. So I think being is, you know, who you want to be, because being is so different from doing. Doing is like running, doing this, doing that. But being, because we're all human beings, we're not human doing. So who you want to be as a business owner, as a doctor, you might want to be the role model for other people. You might want to be the empowerment for other people. So who you want to be, and then let it to lead to your doing and then your feeling.
Good, good. Well done. Thank you very much. So for all of you listening and watching, and those who are going to be watching on a replay, or those who are going to be watching on YouTube, because all our videos on Tell and Grow Your Business really end up on YouTube. Okay, so for who is watching anywhere and everywhere where you're going to be seeing us much later, concentrate and focus on your being. You can only be in the being that you are supposed to be for you to actually live and do. Okay, so that's one word we're leaving you with, and that's the end of the show today. I'm Mutiat Adebowale, and thank you so very much, Anna, for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, and until next time, it's bye from us now.
Bye.